Caitlin Clark has been a phenom in the world of women's basketball. She has entirely revolutionized the game from a business point of view, and with her on-court talent, it is not an exaggeration to say that each time she steps foot on the court, there is a good chance she will break another historical record. And hate, while it naturally follows greatness, people are envious and jealous of what Ken has already accomplished. However, normally those who hate have not accomplished much in their lives, which is why it's so surprising to see other WNBA legends and vets hate on Caitlin. By the conclusion of this video, you're going to see why Sheryl Swoopes is the biggest Caitlin Clark hater. Swoopes has been going after Caitlin from her college days. At first, there was some reality to what she was saying. Swoopes felt that Angel's game would translate to the WNBA better than Caitlin. I'm trying to come take my job. Like, no, it's not going to be that easy. So will Caitlin Clark be a good pro? Absolutely. Will Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now immediately? Absolutely. Not going to happen. Swoopes also claimed that Clark got her NCAA points record via shots and volume rather than quality, and that she needed more time to beat Kelsey Plum's score before she later apologized for uninformed thoughts. However, since those comments, she still holds the single-game assist record along with a record for the most consecutive point-assist double-doubles in a rookie season, the most double-doubles by a rookie guard, the first rookie to record a triple-double, the single-game leader in three-point field goals made by a rookie, and she is the youngest player to record a double-double points and assists in back-to-back games, and that is just the WNBA record. On top of that, she has 7 different records for the Indiana Fever, and just one short season, she has basically become an all-time great for the Fever franchise and left her mark in the history books. But it seems as if Swoopes has it out for Caitlin now. It is clear that she actually dislikes Caitlin, and other people, well, they are starting to take notice. Recently, Stephen A. Smith called her out for her extremely poor take. Clark and the Fever currently lead the WNBA in average game attendance and per-game TV viewership, but despite the attendance and viewership records, there seems to be some haterade in the league in regards to Clark, starting with WNBA legend Sheryl Swoopes herself. Stephen is referring to Swoopes' extremely biased take on Indiana's recent rise in the standings. Swoopes reference to give Ken any credit. In fact, she didn't even mention the rookie. Swoopes showed how petty she can really be when she decided to credit players like Lexie Holt, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston, who have also been great since the team's return from the Olympic break, but there was never a mention of the Fever's star point guard. She believes Indiana will keep moving up in the standings if they're able to keep playing at this level, especially with Hull, Mitchell, and Boston's success. Shout out to Lexie Holt. I'm a big Lexie Holt fan. I watch her in AU. Lexie Holt shot the leather off the ball in their game against Seattle and just couldn't miss. Kelsey Mitchell is just broken. She is just shooting the basketball. Aaliyah Boston, almost a triple-double. Conveniently, she did forget about her history record. Heck, Swoopes gave Angel Reese a shout-out instead for a losing game. I get to that. I'm going to say the shout out to Angel Reese, even in a loss. Listen, 20 boards. It's crazy. Boards. Say what you want to say about how she's getting all these rebounds. You can get 20 rebounds. I don't care if you're rebounding your own. Pretty petty, particularly in light of his amazing basketball career. Sheryl Swoopes is one of the greatest players ever in the history of basketball. That's all. You won a championship in college. At Texas Tech, you won 3 Olympic gold medals. You won 4 WNBA championships. You know basketball. Although the younger generation of fans will recognize Swoopes for her outrageous antics rather than her extraordinary basketball skills, the reason for this is that up until now, Swoopes didn't seem to think highly of Clark. She made another jab at the 22-year-old by claiming that she had better players at the Fever than Angel Reese does at the Chicago Sky, as the two seem certain to compete for Rookie of the Year and the most recent round of their rivalry. Her outright rejection of a once-in-a-generation player is hilarious at this point. No. Respectfully, Sheryl Swoopes, you have any idea how that makes you look? You have any idea how that serves to stain any kind of critique of Caitlin? It's acceptable to give a player criticism. The first person to admit that she is not flawless is Caitlin. She famously started her WNBA career setting an unflattering record. She scored 20 points in her debut game, but during that game, she also committed 10 turnovers, the most in a debut and WNBA history. Now the losses, while they also piled up pretty quickly, however, one reason for the slow start has to be the tough schedule. But at the same time, when you are considered a legend coming into the WNBA, shouldn't you be great right away? Part of this had to do with the learning curve. The reality is that every WNBA player has heard the chatter for the past year or so about How this generational talent is about to come to the league and take over, and none of them want to be that team which allows it to happen, not to mention the fact that Clint essentially had no break between her last college game and her first WNBA game. Usually a rookie either rides the bench and slowly gets acclimated to the WNBA standards, or they just don't have as much responsibility as Caitlin did. However, in order for your critique to have some validity, you also have to give credit where credit is. Do you know basketball better than me? You know basketball than any of the pundits. You know basketball better than most of the men that play basketball. There's no way in hell you just accidentally left Caitlin Clark's name out of that soliloquy that you dropped about the Indiana Fever. Stop it. You know that. Stop it. Since returning from the Olympic break, the Fever had defeated the Phoenix Mercury and Seattle Storm in 2 consecutive games. The game was extremely entertaining, and Caitlin broke multiple franchise and league-wide records. The Fever avoided a season sweep from the Seattle Storm with an impressive 9,275 victory. All eyes were on the game because it was a highly skilled matchup, but also because Caitlin only needed 2 assists to break a 26-year-old WNBA record. The rookie entered the game with 223 assists, just behind Tisha Pinheiro's WNBA rookie record of 224, which was set in 30 games with the Sacramento Monarchs in 1998. Naturally, she broke the record before halftime, and it only took 28 games where Kay Weon returned to the league. She played against Diana Taurasi and her Mercury squad. She dominated the game, and it may be one of those moments where we look back on it in a few years and realize that's when she truly settled into the league. In addition to making WNBA history, Caitlin scored 16 points on 5,566% shooting, including 3 triples, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds. Only 5 other players in the league's history have ever scored at least 450 points and tallied at least 200 assists in a rookie season. Now all of this conveniently slipped his mind, and we haven't even discussed Caitlin's popularity yet, or how she has improved the women's game, and the game afterwards got 485,000, so the Fever and their game against the Minnesota Lynx was 12.19 million on ION. Since the beginning of the WNBA season, there has been a persistent narrative that some members of the media and ex-players are actively working to discredit Caitlin's achievements. This story appears to be supported by additional proof, which is very unlucky for the league. All Sheryl Swoopes did was validate all the speculation that there's folks hating on Caitlin Clark. That's all she did. By now, Caitlin must be accustomed to the hate. On a few occasions, opposing players have hit her with dirty shots that should have led to her being ejected, but we're not mentioning the excessively physical defense that has been used against her all the time. For some reason, it's fair game to give Caitlin credit for helping her teammates improve their efficiency and bring their game to a higher level, but to give Swoopes credit for ignoring her contribution, this is also quite obvious considering that when any other playmaker increases their team's efficiency and contributes an additional level of play, they receive the credit, but not Caitlin. Caitlin Clark is coming. Some people think I think she's going to be even better, and I think that what she has done for women's basketball, especially in this country, has been, in that sense, she has surpassed expectations. Thanks for watching, and subscribe my channel.